Bright lights illuminated the graduation ceremony. Students in navy blue gowns lined up, waiting for their names to be called. In the front row, a young woman struggled to stand, her legs trembling, crutches shaking in her hands. Every eye turned to watch. The CEO's daughter couldn't walk to the stage. Whispers spread through the auditorium. Suddenly, an ordinary man lifted her up, walking through the crowd. In that moment, the entire room fell silent. Michael Turner, 40 years old, single father, strong build, brown hair, wearing a cheap button-down shirt. He worked as a maintenance worker at the university. His daughter Lily, 12 years old, sat in the audience waving to congratulate the graduating students. Michael lived simply. He had lost his wife in an accident, raising his daughter alone. People often saw him as that poor dad with no future. He worked night shifts at the school, cleaning the auditorium, checking electrical systems. Students would laugh and say, "There's the school janitor." During the ceremony, everyone dressed elegantly. Michael wore his old shirt, holding a cheap camera to take pictures of his daughter. CEO Victoria Grant appeared in power. She came to attend her daughter Emma Grant's graduation. Emma was 22 years old. When Emma tried to stand but couldn't, the crowd whispered, "The CEO's daughter, so weak?" Michael noticed Emma's worried expression. He saw Victoria's helplessness. The maintenance uniform made him invisible to most people. Parents in expensive suits glanced right through him. To them, he was just part of the background, just the help. But Michael had learned something through his years of loss and struggle. He recognized pain when he saw it. Real pain. The kind that came from feeling like you'd failed when everyone was watching. Emma's graduation gown was perfectly tailored. Her honors cord gleamed gold. But none of that mattered when her body wouldn't cooperate. When her legs felt like they might give out completely. Victoria sat rigid in her seat, the CEO mask firmly in place. But Michael could see through it. He recognized the look of a parent watching their child struggle. He'd worn that same expression when Lily was in the hospital after her mother died. Other parents whispered behind programs and purses. "What's wrong with her? Can't she even walk? How embarrassing for Victoria." Michael set down his camera. He watched Emma's face crumple slightly, watched her try to hide her tears behind a smile. Lily tugged on her father's sleeve. "Dad," she whispered, "look, she needs help." Michael nodded. Something sparked in his eyes. In that moment, Michael Turner stopped being just the janitor. He became what he'd always been underneath, a protector. The announcer called Emma's name over the microphone. She gripped her crutches, trying to stand. Her legs buckled beneath her. A few students snickered. Whispers spread. "Rich girl can't even walk." Victoria shot to her feet, tears threatening to fall, but she maintained her cold CEO expression for the cameras. Michael set his camera down completely. He stepped toward the front. A security guard blocked his path. "This isn't your business. You're just a janitor." Michael spoke calmly. "I just want to help." He circled around another way, walking directly toward Emma. Other maintenance staff watched in confusion. "What's Mike doing? He's going to get fired." Parents in the front rows shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't protocol. This wasn't how things were supposed to go. Emma whispered to herself, "I can't. I'm so embarrassed." Michael approached quietly. He knelt beside her chair. "It's okay," he said softly. "My daughter was like this once. Let me help you, just this once." Something in his voice was different, confident, assured. Not the voice of someone who cleaned floors for a living. He bent down carefully, lifted Emma in his arms with practiced ease, like he'd done this before, many times before. He walked through the center of the auditorium. Each step measured, precise, military precision. At first, the crowd was stunned into silence. Then applause began to ripple through the room. A professor leaned over to his colleague. "Look how he carries her. That's not how a maintenance worker moves. That's how a soldier moves." Another faculty member noticed. His posture, his bearing. "I've seen that before." Victoria watched from her seat. Something nagged at the back of her mind, the way Michael held Emma, the way he walked. It wasn't ordinary at all. Students pulled out phones, recording the moment. But they weren't laughing anymore. They were witnessing something extraordinary. Emma wrapped her arms around Michael's neck. "Thank you," she whispered. "I didn't think I could do this." "Everyone needs support sometimes," Michael replied, his voice steady, calm under pressure. As they reached the stage, the dean stepped forward uncertainly. This wasn't in the script, but the applause was growing louder. The moment felt right. A veteran in the audience stood up, then another. They recognized something in Michael's bearing, in the way he moved with purpose and precision. The security guard who had tried to stop Michael now watched in confusion. There was something familiar about this man, something he couldn't quite place. Victoria's business instincts kicked in. She studied Michael more carefully, the way he had assessed the situation, made a decision, executed it flawlessly. These weren't the actions of just anyone. An elderly security supervisor moved closer to the stage. His eyes widened in recognition. He'd seen Michael's photo before, years ago, in a different context entirely. The crowd's energy shifted. What had started as curiosity became respect. What had started as whispers became genuine applause. Emma looked out at the audience. For the first time that day, she smiled, really smiled. Michael kept his expression neutral, but inside he remembered other rescues, other people who had needed help, other moments when someone had to step up and act. Lily jumped from her seat, clapping wildly. "That's my dad," she called out. "Go, Dad!" Her voice carried across the silent auditorium. In that moment, everyone realized this wasn't just about Emma Grant. This was about a father who had raised a daughter to recognize when someone needed help, and to believe that help should always be given. When they reached the podium, the MC stammered, This is Emma Grant." Michael gently set Emma down. He steadied her beside the podium as she received her diploma. The auditorium erupted in thunderous applause. Emma broke down crying, clutching her diploma. "I thought I couldn't do this." Michael smiled. "Everyone needs someone to lean on." The moment felt electric. Phones captured every second. But something else was happening in the crowd. After the ceremony, Emma's friends gathered around. "Who was that man?" Victoria approached Michael, her eyes still puzzled. "You're just a maintenance worker, but the way you carried my daughter, that wasn't ordinary." Michael remained quiet. He started to walk away with Lily, but an elderly security supervisor stepped forward, his voice shaky. "I recognize you now. Michael Turner, former Air Force rescue specialist. You received the Medal of Valor for saving 12 people from a plane crash." The words cut through the post-ceremony chatter. Victoria froze. You're him?" Students nearby stopped talking, pulled out phones to search the name. Michael nodded slightly. "The past doesn't matter. Now I'm just a father, taking care of my daughter." But the news spread like wildfire. Within minutes, people were sharing articles, photos from years ago, headlines about the hero who had disappeared from public view. Air Force hero saves dozen in mountain rescue. Medal of Valor recipient retires from service. Local hero chooses family over fame. Emma's sorority sisters found the stories first. "Oh my God, Emma, do you know who just carried you?" Faculty members began remembering. "That's why he seemed familiar. I knew there was something different about him." The university president hurried over. "Mr. Turner, I had no idea. If we had known about your background..." Michael shook his head. "I didn't want you to know. I applied for this job because I needed steady work, not because of what I used to do." Students who had mocked the janitor now stared in shame. Comments on social media shifted from jokes to respect. Victoria's business mind worked quickly. This man had medals, commendations, a military record that most people could only dream of. And he had been cleaning her daughter's school for 2 years. "Why didn't you say anything?" she asked. "You could have worked anywhere, done anything." Michael's answer was simple. "After my wife died, Lily needed stability. This job has good health insurance, regular hours, it's close to her school." The crowd around them grew larger, more people recognizing the name, remembering the stories. A professor of military history stepped forward. I teach about the Pine Ridge Rescue. You saved those people in impossible conditions, 70-mile-per-hour winds, sub-zero temperatures. I had a team, Michael said quietly. We all did our jobs. But Emma wasn't listening to the accolades. She was watching Michael's face, the way he deflected praise, the way he kept looking for Lily in the crowd. You left all that, Emma said, the recognition, the career, everything for her. Michael found Lily and smiled. Best decision I ever made. The revelation changed everything. Students who had ignored him now wanted to shake his hand. Parents who had looked through him now saw him clearly. But Michael seemed uncomfortable with the attention. He had revealed his identity not for recognition, but because someone had asked directly. Honor demanded truth. Victoria realized something profound. She had spent years building her empire, creating her reputation, fighting for respect in boardrooms. And this man had walked away from guaranteed respect, from automatic recognition, from a career that would have opened every door. He had chosen love over legacy, family over fame. The twist was complete. The single dad everyone overlooked was the hero everyone remembered. The janitor was the decorated veteran. The invisible man was the one who had once made headlines around the world. Emma hugged Michael tightly, tears streaming. Thank you. Not just for carrying me, for showing me what real strength looks like. The auditorium was buzzing now, social media posts multiplying. But Michael Turner just wanted to take his daughter for ice cream. Media outlets wanted interviews with the man who carried the CEO's daughter. But Michael quietly avoided them all. He took Lily's hand and headed toward the parking lot. Should we get ice cream to celebrate? Victoria caught up with them at the exit. You didn't just save my daughter today. You showed me what real strength looks like. It doesn't come from money or position. Michael paused. I just did what any parent would do. But that wasn't true. And they both knew it. Most parents would have stayed in their seats. Most people would have assumed someone else would handle it. Around campus, students talked. The janitor we laughed at is actually a decorated hero. Some felt ashamed. Others felt inspired. All of them saw their school differently now. The maintenance staff treated Michael with new respect, but he insisted nothing change. I'm still just Mike. I still have bathrooms to clean. Lily looked up at her father, eyes shining. I'm proud of you, Dad. I'm proud of you too, Michael replied, for seeing that Emma needed help, for having a kind heart. Social media exploded with the story. Graduation hero trending worldwide. Videos of Michael carrying Emma viewed millions of times, but the man himself had disappeared from public view. Back to his quiet life, back to his regular job, back to being just a father. Emma posted a single photo on Instagram, her with her diploma, standing next to Michael and Lily. The caption read, "Heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear work shirts and carry cameras to take pictures of their daughters. Thank you, Mr. Turner, for reminding me that strength comes in many forms." The post received 2 million likes in 6 hours. Victoria created a scholarship fund in Michael's name for single parents pursuing education while working full-time jobs. Michael asked that his name not be on it. She did it anyway. Students at the university started a tradition. Every graduation, they looked around for people who might need help, for families that might need support. They called it the Turner moment. Michael never knew about most of this. He worked his shifts, attended Lily's school events, fixed broken things and cleaned up messes. But the ripple effects continued. Other maintenance workers at other schools found students treating them differently, with more respect, with recognition of their humanity. Do you believe quiet people can change someone's entire life in a single moment? Type yes if you agree that heroes hide in plain sight. The real victory wasn't the viral video. It wasn't the recognition. It was Lily Turner, learning that doing the right thing matters more than getting credit for it. That graduation ceremony wasn't just the day Emma Grant received her diploma. It was the day an entire auditorium learned a lesson. Heroes appear where we least expect them. Michael Turner didn't seek fame or recognition. He just wanted to keep a promise to his daughter. Always do what's right. The message is simple. Never judge someone by their job or appearance. Behind quiet strength might be an entire story of courage and sacrifice. Emma learned that dignity isn't about walking perfectly. It's about accepting help with grace. Victoria learned that true power isn't about controlling situations. It's about recognizing value in unexpected places. But most importantly, Lily learned that her father wasn't just her dad. He was proof that heroes choose love over glory every single day. If you believe in stories that touch hearts like this one, leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to HA Stories. We tell the stories that should never be forgotten.